We're going to turn next to hearing from our Council on Finance and Administration and from about our budget. Bob Rudebush, who chairs the council, and Jeff Pospisil, our conference treasurer, and then they brought along Sherry Meister to make sure that they do it right. So, who directs our foundation.
Very good. Thank you, Bishop. Again, grateful for the opportunity to lead our Council on Finance and Administration. And first of all, I just want to thank every congregation who faithfully gives through the apportionment system, the resources that you have collected for people to give to God through the ministry and the work that we do together. So give yourselves all a great hand in celebrating God's gifts of resources. We work as a team. We have a team of a laity and clergy who work with Jeff to put together the budget. And so we're presenting to you today the 2020 budget. And of course, we're grateful to have I would say the best conference treasurer in all of United Methodism, Jeff Pospisil. And so who's all ready to see a chart or a graph? Yeah.
All right, good afternoon. This is the lovely 3 o'clock time slot everybody loves. So
That's why you have it.
Exactly. So if you have your conference workbook, it's on page 5, and we're just going to go really quick through the numbers. If you really wanted to know about it, you should have read it. So, all right, let's go ahead and go to the next slide that shows the summary. So the big thing is we're going to see a slight increase is what we're projecting for the, do we got the slides? I'll do hand gestures too. Oh, it's not working. This is like my worst nightmare. Okay. Now I'm going to have to breathe. These were awesome graphs. I shared them with the bishop ahead of time. So
I know. I definitely want to see them again.
Okay.
Let's see if we can get a signal. Are we going to be able to get up, or are we down for this?
I'm going to just talk. Okay. I mean, I can do the part of it, but when I get to the graph part, then it's either a hard stop if we don't have graphs, because it's... So, either way, the portion budget, we're projecting a 1% increase in expenses. There's various line items that go down a little and up a little, and I'll talk more about those later. Overall, though, we're seeing a larger increase in the amount of direct bills for pension and health insurance. So that part, so overall, the total amount of health insurance and direct bills, it's a 2.2% increase. The next one was a graph, but if you want to see those graphs, they are on the video, so that's nice. Let me just give you, part of the reason why I use graphs is a lot of times they show the history of where we've been and then a little bit where we're going. And I think that history is so important, and it's so powerful to see that. So I think we're really close. Next. Hold your breath, guys. Go ahead and go to the next. Woo! All right. Thank you, guys. You are awesome. But you can see this from this graph. From 2000 to 2010, we were more and more we were billing the churches, and we came to a point, and some of you will remember this, we had a special session in Aberdeen, First United Methodist Church. And we basically came to a head point where we said, we can't keep billing the churches more and more and more, and something's got to give. And at the same time, the conference said, we got to be all about equipping the local church. And we later redefined that, or refined that under Bishop O. But as a conference finance and administrative committee, we basically said we got to cut it back, and then we got to kind of hold it steady. And so we've been right around that $7 million mark for about a decade now. So why don't we go ahead and go to the next one? So this isn't a really great graph. But it shows the amount that we build, and then the little top section is the amount we receive. Go ahead and go to the next one, because it shows the percentages, which is easier to see in my book. So you can kind of see what I was talking about there. In 2008, 2009, where it gets red there, red's not a good number or color in accounting world. Hopefully that's red. I'm colorblind too. So, but it was dipping down, and we knew it was because our churches could no longer afford all of what we were trying to make them pay for. So we changed our focus. Our focus was on equipping, and we also changed our apportionment method to where it was, if the church prospers, the conference prospers. It was a percentage of income, and you saw it rise up until just this last year. We had a dip down, and that, for me, that was really concerning. And I thought, oh man, we've put all this work into helping our churches prosper, and we want to see them prosper in a lot of ways. We want to see them reach new people. We want to see them have more money and everything else. So I was really conflicted about that, and I was praying about it, and maybe I should do more praying, because as of May 31st, we are up 6.5% from our 5-year average in apportionment giving. So that is awesome, and thank you. I would love to recognize a bunch of churches, and I'll recognize two. We have Fargo First, Fargo Calvary. I just really want to thank those churches for doing such a great job, but there's many others that I should be thanking. But those two I just lift up. So I had planned for a 10-minute presentation, but they gave me 20 minutes. So guess what? Go ahead, bonus graphs. And there's a story leading into this, so go ahead and show the next one. So I don't know what I was doing, but I had access to Lutheran data of the Dakotas, and I thought, how do the Lutherans compare to the Methodists? Because the Lutherans is the other dominant Protestant denomination in the Dakotas. And so this is the 5-year rolling average of attendance growth or decline in the Dakotas, in just the Dakotas, so North and South Dakota. And you can see from 1989 through almost 2010, there's barely any difference, is there? They could be either one. So, and then all of a sudden, 2010, there's kind of a difference. So Bishop, I emailed this to Bishop, and he said the most beautiful words to me. He said, and I don't know if you remember this, he said, I wish I had a graph for the Dakotas versus the rest of the U.S.
Yes, I did say that, yes.
And it almost made me cry. So if I break up here, that's why. Gotta compose myself. But the funny thing was, it was easier to get Lutheran data than it was to get Methodist data. So I spent the next month trying to get Methodist data. And so I'm going to show you. Go ahead and show the next. Wait, go back. Close your eyes. Close your eyes. I'm going to warn you, if you're standing, you'll want to sit down. If you have a beverage, you're going to want to put it down. And if you're pregnant and nursing, no, I don't know. You're probably all right, but now I'll show them. So this is, for most of these graphs, the red line is the Dakotas, nothing political, but it's just, I can see red and blue. So red line is the Dakotas, the blue line is the rest of all the denomination, the U.S. as a total. And the white line there is the baseline. So if you're above that white line, that means you're growing. If you're below that white line, you are shrinking. And this is average worship attendance. So you can see from 1985, and this is a rolling average to kind of smooth things out, is why I do the rolling average. From 1985 through 2010, we consistently trailed or declined at a faster rate than all the rest of the nation until 2010. And then there's kind of a difference there. So, awesome. Let me tell you why I'm sharing these specific graphs. Back at Aberdeen First, Roger Spar, he might not remember it, he's getting older. But But he got up and he said, basically, we're going to invest more into staff. We're going to invest more into things that equip our churches and equip our leaders. And if we don't see it in the numbers, we need to change what we're doing. Do you remember that, Roger? Does that sound right? He says yes. So that's why I'm sharing these. So go ahead and go to the next one. Another important number, children. So this is the one where the Dakotas is blue. And this is a weird graph in that they changed how they counted children and youth for 4 years from 2005 to 2008, and then from 2009 to 2012. So you're going to have to ignore that, but you can see that again from about 1989 through 2010, that the Dakotas consistently was declining at a faster rate than the rest of the denomination. And now we are at a gaining. We're growing in the number of children that are part of our congregations. Go to the next one, please. Same thing with youth. Now the Dakotas is back to red. But even as you look at the youth cohort that we've been doing, and all of a sudden we're going from consistently just breaking even in the number of youth to actually having a good-sized growth. So that is exciting news. Go ahead and go to the next one. Now this is the most shocking one to me. This is membership. And Bishop had said this a while ago. He said, worship attendance is one thing, but membership is more of a lagging indicator. It's a sign of an increasing commitment. It's more than just I'm deciding to go to church on Sunday. I'm deciding to publicly profess that I will support this church. And I would bet that we are probably one of the few conferences that are growing in membership. And you can actually see that. The average is to drop by 2% plus. So we are at a small gain, but it's still it's a gain. And again, right around 2010, I think that's some coincidence so far. And then now probably the most important one. Go ahead and go to the next one. Professions of faith.
Yeah, this is.
And that one, if there is a graph that would make you cry, that one should make you cry for joy, because again, we were right around the average, maybe a little bit below, and now all of a sudden, look at that, 25% almost increase in our growth rate for professions of faith. So, and then the last one I just had to look, and I don't have enough data on this, so it doesn't make a good graph. Yep, you're right, operating income. So again, operating income wise, we go ahead and go to the next one. I jinxed us. Okay, operating income, again, we're above average, so that was neat. But I wonder, and again, I wonder if you would look back before 2010, what you would see. So that is why I share these. I just really thank God for what he's done in the Dakotas. I mean, thank God for how he's used our churches, for how he's used our people and how many new clergy he's raised up. And I'm just thankful for what he's doing in the Dakotas. So now we will get back. Oh, I should take a break. We have a sponsor here for the Dakotas conference, and I'd like to introduce Sherry Meister, Executive Director of the Foundation.
Do you know how you define sponsorship in Jeff's world?
Money.
Money? No, you buy him free lunch. And then you get... It's pretty exciting in the foundation right now. We just broke the line of $29 million. And so thank you to all of you for that. And with those dollars, to be able to do that, we were able to put about $1 million back into ministry in the conference and within your churches. And of that million, 100,000 went to scholarships for our seminarians. And so $100,000 in partnership with the Board of Ordained Ministry. There's a few other things going on in the foundation. I have just a little story that leads into this, so bear with me on this. When I was a kid, 4-H was very important to our family. We participated at all levels and learned early on that hard work and dedication was rewarded at the end of the summer during the county fair. Throughout the years, we learned how to win with humility, lose with dignity, and celebrate the accomplishments of others. Back in the day, the Lincoln County 4-H program honored one graduate with the I Dare You Leadership Award. I think we have a slide for that. This award challenged the recipient to aspire nobly, adventure daringly, and serve humbly. In 1981, to my surprise, I was the recipient of that award. Wow. I was overwhelmed to think that the 4-H leadership saw me as that person who embodied the characteristics this award represented. It was a true honor. The award is a book titled I Dare You, and it's by William Danworth. And since the day I received it, it has guided me through my entire career. When I got home the evening following the awards banquet, I began to read the Little Red Book and saw the many ways these few pages could challenge me. Over the past 30 years, I have moved numerous times and have purged many items with each move. What I didn't realize is how often this book would appear when I most needed the reminder to be daring. This book, with a whole lot of divine intervention, reminds me that balance is important and daring to take a challenge is imperative to growth while entering into the unimaginable. This year's annual conference, as you all know, the theme is Dare to Reach, Love Boldly. And once again, my Little Red Book appeared as a reminder. This time, I had a nudge to reread the book. As I did, it spoke to me time and time again and has dared me to reach beyond what is normal, beyond what is comfortable. The foundation has an exciting opportunity before us. We have entered into a management agreement with Minnesota to begin the conversations of best practices for collaboration. Beginning July 1st, I will also be the executive director of the Minnesota Foundation. Many of you might be thinking, why would we do that? Well, anytime we can pool our resources and expand what is currently successful in each foundation, it makes good sense to collaborate to become stronger, because together we're better. This is also a trend we're seeing across the denomination and other foundations, and we learned that there is so much to gain by streamlining administration, aligning marketing materials, increasing contacts with potential donors, and better serving local churches and congregations. With this opportunity and others before us, I dare you to think beyond what is currently being done in your churches. I dare you to challenge one another. I dare you to do things like we've never done them before. I dare you to believe there are more resources available for ministry than we would know what to do with. I dare you to answer the call when the Holy Spirit is nudging you to take the next step. I dare you to reach and love boldly. I dare you.
Thank you, Sherry, for lunch and the message. Actually, the foundation has been one of our closest partners, and a lot of the credit for the areas we saw of growth, I would also say the foundation played a significant role. I'm going to finish it up with the highlights, and I will be as quick as possible. So the first one is the apportionment percentage. We will stay at 16%. I mean, there was a lot of uncertainty going into this year and into the other years, and this is one that I feel like this is the one where I struggle with, because I really believe in a 10% apportionment, and that's one of the things I think is a long-term goal for us, or maybe it's a shorter-term goal, but anyway, we need to, I think that needs to be one of the standards. If we could say people give 10%, the church gives 10%, the conference gives 10%, I think that would be an ideal, sustainable way of doing our work. So anyway, but it is 16% for 2020. The next one is, so I'm just going to highlight a couple of the more significant changes. One of the significant changes is just the way that we do our new churches is we've shifted from doing the more traditional plant, which could cost $100,000 plus a year for one plant. But now with some of this, and this is the Aurora Impact Church, am I correct? So, awesome. So shout out to them. I mean, these congregations that are brave enough to do what we'd call a reboot, it's not only cheaper, but there's a higher success rate. And I'm just so thankful for churches that are so brave to take that step. The next one is we're seeing a small decrease in our impact ministries, and part of that is the great work of Jim and Kathy Conzer at the Bakken Oil Rush Ministry. So go ahead and show the next one. And they've done a wonderful job since our first miracle offering, and to make that a sustainable United Methodist ministry out in Watford City. It's just remarkable the work they've done. And they're now apportionment neutral going into the 2020 budget. So the next one is our cabinet. Right now we had 3.5 district superintendents in the budget. What we did is we don't know exactly what's going to happen. He works harder than them, he says. Anyway, I shouldn't repeat what people say in the crowd, because it'll eventually catch up. What we don't know is in 2020, we know there's going to be a number of district superintendents. Everybody says they're retiring or whatever, so I don't believe it, but Roger says he's 65 and he wants to, or 66, so he might retire. Kermit wants to go golf. Randy, I don't know what Randy does. Cats. Sorry. And then Kevin, I don't know. So, but either way, we wanted to budget for 4 full-time superintendents just so we were covered. So that's an increase. The next one is we had some changes in our pension and health insurance. And this is the direct bill piece. For the last couple of years, we've been able to artificially keep our direct bills a little lower because our CPP, which is Comprehensive Protection Plan, we had a premium holiday. And so now that's that'll raise it a little bit for us. We've been trying to, that'll raise it a little bit. The other one is we noticed that we had a coverage issue, and that we were covering full-time pastors, but not part-time pastors for our what we call UMPIP, paid by parish. And that's my thing for a coverage issue. Not everybody was fully covered there. So, but I don't know, am I out of time? So, anyway, for full-time pastors for years and years, we gave about $2,000 into their personal investment plan. And with the increase in the number of part-time pastors, we would like to expand that benefit to part-time pastors. So for a 3/4-time pastor, it's about $1,600. For a half-time, it's about $1,100. So that is the part of the increase in direct bills. And that is your 2020 budget report.